It is a cool Saturday. Saturday. It's a cool Tuesday afternoon here in Dallas, Texas, and I have my counterpart for the day. First time on the show, and just to officially introduce him, he is a rugby and football, aka soccer fanatic. He's also a fanatic of the AFC Leopard side, as well as Arsenal, who we're going to talk about. He is into press, he's into technology, he loves to use the Queen's English, and don't let the smile fool you. This guy hits you, it feels like a ton of bricks. So, welcome to the show, Mike Kwambo. How are you?
Thank you so much, Kibui. Pleasure to be on the show.
Excellent, excellent. So, Tuesday afternoon, our team played on Sunday, but we had a couple of interesting matches this afternoon. Points being dropped all over. And while I thought that the Premier League would be finished by the end of January, it looks like we're going to have an interesting run for the next 18 games till the end of the season. But before that, we're going to jump right in and we're going to have a discussion about what happened on Sunday. And so, with that, I'm going to let you take it away. What did you think of the FA Cup match on Sunday?
Wow. The FA Cup match on Sunday was just another demonstration of poor game management by Mikel Arteta and by Arsenal, because that was a Manchester United side that Arsenal could have taken down easily, but they simply just lacked the killer punch. Arsenal just looking poor of late, struggling to replicate their form from last season, and they came up against a Manchester United side that grew in confidence and eventually claimed the result. So, in my opinion, poor game management from Arsenal, from Mikel Arteta.
I don't think we even had a proper attempt on goal until they got the red card, which is for me an indictment on just the style of play, just the commitment from the players to move forward in that final third. What do you think has changed from 2 seasons ago when you watched Arsenal, you walked away, even if it was a tight game or we lost or we drew, you're like, wow, those guys played some beautiful football. What's going on with the side?
I think the players are mentally fatigued with the coaching methods of Mikel Arteta, and that points to him demanding detail. You and I both played sport. We both stuck to structures from our coaches, but there was points in time where you are actually told, be innovative and get yourself out of a sticky situation. I don't think that is the case at Arsenal, because if you dare think outside the box, you do not fit in Mikel Arteta's plans. And so basically, it's killing the creativity within the team, as you can see. And
Yeah.
they stick to the structure from minute 1 to minute 90, and it's sinking them.
Yeah, it feels like the flair is completely gone. Whereas before we looked for those counterattacks, it just seems like everything is so much more controlled, so much more methodical. And I'm all for control and making sure that you can close out a game, but it almost feels like we're trying not to lose instead of trying to take the game and win it, right?
Absolutely. And you just have to look at the league record. We've given away nearly half as many matches as we have won. Um, I know that as of game week 19, we had won 11, drawn 7, and lost 2. I mean, 7 plus 2 is 9, which comes to roughly 49% of the fixtures that you played.
Yeah.
So it just shows you the mentality here is avoid defeat at all costs rather than go out and win games. And I don't think the Arsenal can continue that going forward, especially into the last 18 games of the season.
Yeah. So finally, we ended up going to a penalty shootout, and our goalkeeper. I don't know if you watched it. Did you watch the shootout?
I missed it. I just got off. I was tired. I tried to
Okay.
stay up, and yeah.
So goalkeeper didn't paint himself on a good light. He almost dived a half second early before every penalty taken, almost giving them an easy out. So it was disappointing to go out that way. But Martin Odegaard missed a penalty in the game. Kai Havertz missed point blank range. Declan Rice missed point blank range. It was disappointing, but the team is creating chances, but they're not converting. And I think something that I'm going to kind of cover next with the Carabao Cup game that we had here against Newcastle. I'm just going to share my screen here and I'm going to expand this. And for me, we lost that game 2-0, but for me, the microcosm of Arsenal's season has been this right here. We dominate possession, we dominate the duels, we're dominating the passing, but our end result, our end product right here, we have minimal shots on target and we're not converting them, right? So for me, we're creating opportunities, but we're not converting them. If we had, I look at the Premier League, and I think if even if we had someone like Mateta from Crystal Palace, big strong bully. If you had somebody like this kid from Wolves, Jorgen Strand Larsen, he's a big strong striker. They get few chances, but they convert them. I think if you have somebody big and strong like that, this is what this gameplay is set up for a big strong guy who's clinical to take their chances. And then if you look at Newcastle's opportunities on the other side, this is the part that's glaring. Gave
Mhm.
up four opportunities and they scored two. So for me, Arsenal's season and our challenges are we create a lot of opportunities, we don't put enough away. We give up minimal opportunities, but we get scored on half of them. That's the season in a microcosm for me.
Yeah, it is. And it just goes down to Arsenal being mechanical because they're doing everything that is expected of them but score. And I mean, it is proven that you need natural finishers to kill off the chances that the team is creating. You're not going to do it by tinkering with the likes of Kai Havertz. No offense to him, but he simply is not up to the task when it comes to finishing. So and let's just go back to that game between Newcastle and Arsenal. I mean, Newcastle, their XG was 1.22. Arsenal's was 3.0 XG, three
Exactly.
expected goals, but still you can't do anything. So there is a problem. Mikel Arteta is aware of the problem, but I feel that he's a stubborn man.
I think you talk about him being stubborn. Reporters asked him the other day, are we going to go into the market? Do we need a striker? He said, no, I love my boys. No, I love my boys, which is cool. We can love the boys, but I think it's also okay to acknowledge that, you may need to be more clinical, maybe bring in somebody. That doesn't mean that, you're going to cast away somebody in the squad. It just means you're adding to the squad and taking pressure off the other players, right? If you bring in somebody who's clinical.
Agreed. And also, apart from just adding, I think you're also raising the standards, you're raising the competition because everybody wants to step up. I mean, again, let's go back to our playing days. And
Yeah,
anytime there was somebody hovering around your position, you'd up your game. You wouldn't just shrivel and go away to the corner. So I mean, it's common sense. And then the injury to Gabriel Jesus now compounds issues further. Arsenal have been poor in front of goal this season,
yeah.
and the one person that you do have as a recognized striker is now injured. And remember, he was only just getting back on the bandwagon after going quite a long spell without scoring a goal.
Yep, I agree. And that's a perfect segue into the next issue, which has been medical updates. Gabriel Jesus, ACL. So he's basically done for the season. He's going to undergo surgery. Bukayo Saka was a hamstring tear. He had his surgery a couple of weeks ago. Um, and so for that kind of an injury, a tear, you're probably looking at maybe 2.5 months for recovery, then another maybe month of like nice, easy running to break in, then another, 2 weeks to get you up to speed with the under 23s. So I almost feel like Bukayo's gone for the season. And we knew in December, before he got injured, that we needed a striker, right? I think everybody would have agreed we need a clinical striker. So
Yeah.
Bukayo's gone, and then now Jesus is gone, and it's 2 weeks into it's we're basically halfway through the window, and there are no firm links about any strikers. Um, Go ahead.
Again, yeah, big teams are making big moves. Just look at Manchester City and what they're doing, quietly going about their business. They've made some key signings who I don't think will impact them heading into the final 18 games of the season, but they're going to have an effect long term. And that shows you, and this is from a team with a culture of winning. And to win, you have to plan for success. I don't think Arsenal seem to be aware of that. And as you said, we need somebody who can finish, somebody who can bang up those goals out of nothing. I mean, an Alan Shearer kind of striker, the likes of Victor Gyökeres are there,
Yeah.
Victor Osimhen, because when it comes to every other department, Arsenal is good. I'd like to liken this to a motor vehicle, and
Mhm.
everybody else, we are in a sprint. And while people are busy putting nitro systems and stuff like that and turbo boosts, Arsenal is busy repairing the brakes and the shocks. I mean,
Well, I think we got another spare tire today because apparently there's an agreement to sign Zubimendi from Sociedad, who's
at this
a deep lying defensive playmaker.
at this rate, me and you should also sign.
Hey, I can stand in a spot, play the control. I think I can run for about 10 minutes, then I'll tag you in. We can do this.
Great, and I can talk trash to the opponent for the remaining 10 minutes and get them out, and that's still defensive midfield work, isn't it?
100%, yeah. And so, there were stories that there was an article reported that Dusan Vlahovic, the massive striker at Juventus, has been unhappy there, and we offered him the opportunity to come once, twice. I think the last 3 seasons we've been like, Dusan, please come, we want you. The guy keeps saying no. So at what point, like when you asked a chick out back in the day and she said no, at what point do you give up and say, you know what, maybe let me just refocus my effort somewhere else because this is not working? And it just seems like Arsenal continues to chase targets that are not interested in joining the club.
Yep.
And I think if I ask you like 10 times, maybe you'll say yes, they love him. So
Nah, yeah. And you see, like you said, once you said refocus, I mean, for me, this whole conversation about signing Dusan was done, because you can't keep wasting your time and energy. And as you do that as well, what's happening? Remember, his form is also dipping. He's not getting any younger.
that's true.
Yeah, his form is dipping. His quality is dipping. So I mean, why are you going to beat around the bush unless Arsenal want to get a cheap signing and say that they got a striker? But they have the resources. Just make a play for somebody who can turn things around. Let us at least know that we've got somebody who can score goals, but the team is still not winning, because right now
Yeah,
this is going to be the biggest monkey on Arteta's back.
it is. And you look at what happened today. Premier League. It was an interesting day, and if you look at the table now, if you look at the table and the form table, we're looking at opportunities. If you look at it, eh, Liverpool are now 6 points clear of Forest, seven clear of Arsenal. Arsenal have a game tomorrow, which we're about to discuss. And so, if Arsenal, by some miracle, with all the injuries and the form, go and win that game, then it's 4 points with a game at Liverpool, which could be, if you talk about being positive, we're still in this. That's another 3 points. And then they have an extra game away at Everton, which they rarely win away, right? That's one of their bogey sides. So the question is, where's the ambition from the ownership? If you can see that you're in touch and distance of this league now. In fact, if anything, if I'm a rookie today and I saw Liverpool drop points again, I say, you know what, Mikel, let me get you Osimhen. Let me get you Jokeris. That's the guy who scores. That guarantees us a Premier League. That's extra cash, and that also, importantly, puts you in the driving seat in the Champions League. Slowly we're going to have players come back. Ben White is not far from coming back. He's an integral piece. Partey's still healthy. Rice is getting back into full health. And if you add like one winger, get like maybe a winger on loan, send that Neto guy back because he's cup tied. He's not even going to play. Sterling, I think Sterling's going to have a big part to play. He doesn't have much time on his legs in the last 2 years because he barely played at Chelsea. So, and he looked fit when he came on. So, what are your thoughts on squad and where we are and what we can add to kind of make an impact for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I concur with you in terms of the squad, especially for Sterling. I thought he looked good. He was positive when he came on Sunday against Manchester United, and it also begs the question: how come Arteta has not been using him more? Because I feel that he would have been there to relieve the pressure from Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that we've also lost the youngster Ethan Noneri to a muscle injury again.
Mhm.
Allow me just to veer off course, and it begs questions about the team's conditioning. Yes, agreed. The Premier League is an endurance race, but the rate of injuries that are coming through from Arsenal are unbelievable. Next year, you're
Typically
going to
muscle injuries, right?
yes. Next, you're going to hear that Raya, stretched something in the bathroom while reaching for shower gel. Um, but yeah, but back to what we are saying.
Yeah,
There need to be reinforcements. Midfield is taken care of. The defense is taken care of.
yeah,
Just get some bloody attackers.
yep.
Yeah,
So that's our expectation. Cronky, if you're
yeah.
listening,
I
if we
think
get a winger and a striker, you can sell the other ones in the summer. You'll get your money back. But
Now, also, it's good you mentioned the name Cronky because I just lost my train of thought briefly while I was going on my rant about conditioning, and I feel that he treats Arsenal like a trophy in his cabinet. It's like, wow, the Arsenal is there. He's not demanding of the Arsenal as he is of his teams on the other side of the pond. His American sports teams,
yeah,
and I mean, there needs to be more than just finishing in the top four, more than just being a top something club. I mean, it's now gonna be how many years since the last serious trophy that Arsenal won, since that FA Cup during the COVID times. It's now
it's
5 years of
5 years from
yeah,
the FA Cup.
yeah, and it's also 5 years of Arteta's regime.
Yep.
And in the growing world of football, where the owners are increasingly becoming impatient, he looks more like a company man than somebody tasked to deliver big things to the Arsenal.
He's more of a Daniel Levy at Spurs than he is an Abramovich.
Yeah, yeah.
Abramovich demanded, if you didn't win a championship
Head
before
out.
you finished the last game of the season, you got a text saying, "Don't even come back.
Yeah,
Just go home. It's okay.
yeah,
Thank you for your
yeah,
service, and it's done."
yeah.
So North London derby tomorrow. Both teams played 120 minutes on Sunday. Tottenham, shockingly, playing a lower tier side. Those guys have jobs every day. They practice during the week. They push them all the way. So that's the only benefit for Arsenal is that they both played 120 minutes on their legs. We have a game tomorrow. They brought in a young goalkeeper, which again is showing ambition because they needed a goalie. They got him on the first day of the window. He's already paying dividends. What do you think? What do you expect for that game tomorrow? Uh,
Well, I do expect Arsenal to win. I do expect a close result, 2-1. Here's my thought process. You look at it. Arsenal are in desperate need of a statement performance, and beating Spurs is always a big statement, no matter the occasion. And
yeah,
so Wednesday night is crucial for that. But remember, Arsenal, they've lost their form in front of goal.
yeah.
And there's little room for margin if they're to chase down the leaders, Liverpool, in the quest for the Premier League title. It's a huge occasion, one that also Tottenham are eyeing for a rare win on enemy soil. Can't remember the last time they won at the Emirates. It's been quite a while.
Yeah.
But remember, like you said, Spurs, I wouldn't say they were poor in the FA Cup against the non-league side, Tamworth.
Yeah.
And it's ironic because before that in the Carabao Cup, they looked very impressive. Remember, they defeated Liverpool in the
Yeah.
in the Carabao Cup first leg, and now for Spurs, it's consistency that's a problem. One moment they're hot, one moment they're cold. But like I said, I do expect the Arsenal to win this game 2-1.
Okay. So I just like you said, they're maddening. If you're a Tottenham fan, they're maddeningly inconsistent game to game. So I'm hoping that they keep that inconsistency in this game and they start slow. I think Ange Postecoglou is just as stubborn as Arteta, and like he plays how he plays. I'm playing a high
Yeah,
line. I'm going
yeah,
to press, and I think that if we have Raheem on one side and Martinelli on the other side, and if we have Rice and Party in the midfield, I think we can win. I would say 3-0.
wow,
If
wow,
we don't have those
yeah,
two starting on the wings, because you need the speed on the sides to put that pressure on them to create to stretch the field. So if you
yeah,
stretch the field, opportunities will come. We'll
yeah,
get 10. We'll score 2.5.
yeah,
That's my opinion. If you play
yeah.
Party at right back, then I'm
Mhm.
gonna say maybe 1-1. It's a
Okay.
random score. like that.
Yeah. And then, I like that you said Ange is a stubborn man. And it's good because I don't expect Spurs to do the low block like every recent opponent has been doing for Arsenal. So they'll come out to attack and they'll offer a lot of space, like you said. And once you have Martinelli and Sterling and if Odegaard shows up on the day, it should be a good day for the Arsenal. But remember again, confidence in both camps is low. They're both hit by injuries.
True.
But I feel that because of Arsenal's more reliable defense, they have the edge. Hence, going back to the score that I gave 2-1.
2-1. Okay. So we're going to wrap up by talking about where we are sitting right now today, expectations for the season. The FA Cup is done. So we heard that they've already booked tickets to Dubai. They're going to Dubai in 2 weeks. So they're going to go and do whatever magic they do. What's your expectation for Arsenal from this point till the end of the season?
Well, I don't expect them to win the league. I do expect them to finish in the top four because I see Man City resurging after that blip in form. Manchester United are also making waves in the bottom half of the table coming up. That's it. So out of the FA Cup,
Okay.
the are going out of the Carabao Cup. The Premier League is all they have left because there's also the Champions League, and I feel that at some point they will meet their match. So, like you can see, I have minimum expectations. Let's just be happy with the Champions League spot, like it was during Arsene Wenger's days. And I do hope that at the close of the season, there's
Yeah.
serious introspection towards where Arsenal want to be in terms of management, in terms of winning, and in terms of their playing unit.
Yeah. I hope that when they go to Dubai, Arteta goes and he tweaks his style of play, go back more to the flowing, just trust your defenders to do their job at the back and just go push and score. So that's what I would hope for. I don't think we can go and turn around the fixture at Newcastle. They're very difficult at home. So I think Carabao Cup is done as well. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but I don't think we will. I also think we are locked in for top four. I think that fight for third and fourth is going to be much harder than people are thinking because Forest are playing great soccer. They're playing great footy. City are always hanging around and they can go on a run. And then you have Chelsea and you have Villa and Newcastle all kind of hovering there. So I think we'll sneak out top four, and then Champions League will drop out at some point in the knockout phases. We'll make it to knockout, maybe get to the second round. So if we even make quarters in Champions League, I'll be impressed. But we're kind of thin right now. Our gameplay doesn't look good. It's not positive. Uh, he could change that around, but that's my expectation. So another season with no cups, we go back to hitting our heads on the wall, and you know the Bante era is almost back. So I'm hoping that they turn that around.
Yeah.
So appreciate you joining me. We also have some Kenya rugby Sevens rugby at the end of this month.
Yeah.
So I know you'll be covering that, and then the Super Rugby season and Six Nations kickoff. So we're going to have Premier League and soccer to cover. Looking forward to doing this again with you.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
remember, there's also MLR. Looking forward to doing it with your guidance
Oh
this
yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. I followed Seattle for a long time. Have some good friends up there, and yeah. Even though our team was taken away from us, happy to support the Seawolves because those are good people.
Yeah.
Cheers, my guy.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Have a good night.
You too.